Okay, so this is the third TD Ameritrade portfolio options update. We are currently sitting at $3,540.26, which as you can see is an all-time high, including deposits. So I believe last week we were around $2,900 or so, and now we're at $3,540. So I'm just going to be going over all my positions, any changes, and yeah. So just to start off, we'll go through any changes I've made through this area, the history and statements. So we got assigned on Hood at $8.50 for 200 shares, and that removed our option on Hood due to assignment for a price of 0. And then I deposited $614. I sold 100 of those shares of Hood because I felt like I was over leveraged in Hood, so I sold half of my shares in Hood at a pretty big loss of about $73. I then bought to close a Palantir short call, and then bought to close also a Ford short call for profit on both of these. I sold off my remaining JEPQ at a loss. I sold the one extra share of Ford that I had lying around because it was just kind of annoying me to look at, and then I sold to open a new call on Ford. I sold to open a new call on Palantir. I sold a call on Hood, and I sold a Palantir put, and a new stock that I'm wheeling is called ET. I'll go over that in a bit. So I sold a put on ET, and apparently I got some free interest, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, so this is everything I did in the last week. If we look here, Ford is currently down $260. We closed this short call at a profit as I was talking about, and I reopened one for $15 a premium, expiring at the end of the month. So the end of January is when all these options are set to expire. I started doing a thing where I analyze the stock's, financials. So I analyze the financials, I look at analysis price targets, I look at the options chain, and I look at the dividend. And I'm implementing this rating system here about how good I think a stock is and how good I think it would be to hold long term. As you can see, Ford is a very strong stock in this rating system. And if we go over to Energy Transfer is a very solid stock for this rating system. You see 21 out of 29, where Ford only had 17 out of 29. And you can also see I opened this short put for $7 of credit at the $11 strike price with 16 days till expiration. A new rule I'm doing with options trading is I'm strictly targeting 0.5% return per week on collateral. So it's a much safer way of selling options. So I added that to my list of rules, and as you can see, I'm doing that right here. That doesn't apply for short calls. I'm just selling at my cost basis pretty much for short calls. Moving on to Palantir. We're in the green on Palantir by $28 overall, which is really good. I opened that short put for $6 a premium, and I opened the short call for $13 a premium. You can see the short call is 30 days till expiration, and the short put has 10 days till expiration from the time I opened it, so that's following my calls and put rules. You can see Palantir is a very awful rating. I looked over all of their financials. Their options chain was good. They had no dividend, of course, and analysis price target was really bad. So I'm really not liking having to hold Palantir, but my plan currently is just to basically get the shares called away via selling a call. I'm okay with getting assigned. As you can see, my cost basis is $6.14. The current price is $6.42. So I'm hoping to get assigned for some premium. Moving on to SoFi, we're still green on SoFi. I have yet to get assigned on SoFi, and we currently opened a short put this week on SoFi for $4 a premium at the $4 strike price with 14 days till expiration. So that's exactly a 0.5% return for each week. And you can see SoFi is also a pretty bad stock in terms of analysis. Now for Hood, Hood is kind of going really badly. We got assigned at that $8.50, as you can see, for 200 shares. I sold 100 shares at a loss because I felt like I was very over leveraged. It was over 50% of my portfolio was this Robinhood stock. And if we look over here, you can see their score on my rating system is really bad. They have a really bad set of financials. No dividend, of course. Their only good part about them is their options chain, and analyst price targets were pretty good, but everything else, from what I could tell, was really bad. So I'm really not looking to hold this for much longer. As you can see, we're only down 60 on that, but I still don't like having to hold this. Stock positions, I closed JEPQ at an $8.40 loss. I just wanted to get rid of it. It was kind of just taking up space, and I was holding it for no real reason. And I don't like having all these random stock positions, so I just got rid of it, cut it for a loss. Deposits, you can see I deposited quite a lot of money this week, about $664. Overall P&L, we're down $362 on the year, down 9.29% on the year. Return compared to SPY is 1.57% lower than what I would have gotten as a return if I had just invested in SPY, which is kind of crappy, but I'm trying to learn here. I'm tuning my strategy. I'm getting better, so it makes sense. Eventually, I'll be able to outperform SPY. You can see December was a crazy month for passive income in terms of short options value. It absolutely destroyed any previous month we had. It more than doubled the previous highest month of September. So I'm looking forward to see where January goes. Hopefully it'll be in the 100 range, and maybe we'll even break 200 at some point. You can see January, this is my plan, just monthly short calls on these three that I've been assigned on, and then short puts on these three. And like I said, I added Energy Transfer because I think it's a very solid stock. Let's see. Here's the chart. So this is the week. We kept going on this really sharp downtrend, and we got all the way down to here, almost $500 in losses at one point. I'm not really sure what caused that super huge dip, but we did recover pretty quickly from that, and now we're kind of neck and neck with SPY again, which is really good. I also added this realized gains chart because I have a lot of unrealized losses, but if you really pay attention to the realized gains, I'm up quite a bit for the year. You can see my realized gains from selling options and dividends and all that has just been climbing and climbing and climbing. At one point it reached $345, but then I ended up taking that loss on Robinhood stock, which became realized, and now I'm down to $263. But if we're looking at only realized P&L, I'm actually doing very good for the year. This is almost 10% in realized gains, which is very good. Move over to here. I made this little allocation tab so I could track what percentage each stock is of my portfolio and also how much margin I'm using. Now, I'm very hesitant about using margin, but I'm not really sure how it works exactly yet because I should be using margin right now based off of how much money I would technically be using on trades, but I'm not getting charged any interest, so I'm not really sure what's going on here, but so I'm holding no more than 33% of my portfolio in a given stock. So you can see it's about hovering around there. And as you can see, Robinhood would have been, like 50% of my portfolio if I kept the 200 shares. And I don't think Robinhood's a good stock, so I'm not willing to have that much of my portfolio in it. Moving down here, 2022 end of year stats. You can see we ended the year with a value of 3,540. We have a P&L at the end of the year of negative 362. Of course, that's unrealized. If we go to realized, it's 263, and an unrealized loss of 9.29%, a realized gain of probably around 5 to 7%. And then I have my 2023 goals. So my 2023 goals is to not only deposit, but to have actual capital gains. So just hoping to deposit enough money to get up to $7,500 of portfolio value. Hoping to have an overall P&L for the year exclusively of 10%, which would be around $750. That's a pretty big stretch. It really depends on if this year is bearish or not. I'm not really sure. So I'm kind of jumping for a big goal there. But these are my goals. Overall P&L of $500 in the green, which currently we're down quite a bit, so that's a big challenge. But yeah, let's go over to my positions. So still holding the 100 shares of Ford, 100 shares of Hood, 100 shares of Palantir. You can see my Robinhood and my Palantir shares are actually not down that bad, and especially when you factor in my options premium gains, these are practically positive. So that's really good. I'm very happy about that. Ford is still doing pretty bad as usual, but I'm really quite okay with holding that for the long term. In terms of options we have here, you see we have the weekly short put on Palantir, the weekly short put on SoFi, weekly call on Ford, weekly call, or I guess monthly call on Palantir, monthly call on Hood, and the weekly short put on Energy Transfer. You can see in terms of gains on these, all my puts are doing really good because we had a really good rally recently, so all my puts are in the green. My calls are in the red, but I'm okay with that because all these prices I'm okay with getting assigned at. If I were to get assigned at these prices for all these short calls, then my overall P&L would be about negative $50 or so, which I'm very happy. I would be very happy to be selling at, basically. Currently I have $100 of short options value, so if you factor that into our account, we're doing quite a bit better. Of course, I'm not doing that though. But yeah, so I think that should be everything for this week. I'm just going to keep holding all these positions, and I'll update you next week.